The first time I saw someone phase through my quantum repair shop's wall, I dropped a very expensive chronosphere wrench on my foot. Not my proudest moment, but in my defense, you don't exactly expect a being made of living crystal to materialize through solid matter while you're calibrating a temporal displacement engine. Greetings, Mechanic Raven Martinez, the crystalline figure chimed, their voice resonating like wind through glass. I am Prismer of the Crystalline Collective. Your reputation precedes you. I massaged my throbbing foot, trying to maintain some semblance of professionalism. My reputation? I just opened the shop 3 months ago in New Denver. The only customers I've had are local quantum courier services and the occasional time-displaced tourist. Prismer's faceted surface caught the shop's LED lights, casting rainbow patterns across my workshop's cluttered walls. Time is relative, Mechanic Martinez. In certain futures, your skills are legendary. Great. Temporal paradoxes before coffee. Just what I needed on a Monday morning. Your establishment was recommended by the Quantum Mechanics Guild of Sector 7, Prismer continued, either oblivious to or politely ignoring my confusion. I require assistance with my interspatial vehicle. It has developed an unfortunate tendency to skip between dimensions when I activate the entertainment system. I set down my wrench and approached the crystalline being. The guild doesn't exist yet. I would know. I've been trying to start one for years. Prismer's crystalline form shifted slightly, producing a sound like tiny bells. Perhaps I should not have mentioned that. Temporal contamination protocols and all that. Shall we focus on the present issue? Before I could respond, a low humming filled the air, and suddenly my modest repair shop was hosting what looked like a cross between a Tesla coil and a disco ball. The vehicle materialized in the center of my workshop, hovering a few inches off the ground and occasionally flickering between different states of matter. That's your car? I asked, circling the mysterious machine. Its surface rippled like liquid mercury, but when I reached out to touch it, my hand passed right through. It's beautiful and completely impossible. Beauty and impossibility often go hand in hand, Prismer observed. Can you repair it? I pulled out my quantum diagnostic tablet, running a preliminary scan. The readings made absolutely no sense. The vehicle seemed to exist in 17 dimensions simultaneously, and its power source appeared to be running both forwards and backwards in time. This is way beyond anything I've ever worked on, I admitted. But I paused, studying the complex patterns of energy flowing through the vehicle's systems. Something about them seemed familiar, like a song I'd heard in a dream. I think I can help. The next few hours were a blur of quantum calculations, dimensional stabilization, and a lot of creative problem solving. I discovered that the entertainment system was accidentally tapping into the vehicle's dimensional drive because someone, or something, had crossed the quantum entertainment feeds with the spatial navigation matrix. A rookie mistake, really, if you understood both quantum mechanics and interdimensional engineering. Which, apparently, I did. As I worked, more unusual customers began arriving. A group of time travelers from the 47th century wanted their temporal compass recalibrated. A being made of pure mathematics needed help debugging their reality-altering algorithms. Even a quantum AI in a pocket universe requested a tune-up of their existence parameters. I don't understand, I said to Prismer as I finished the final adjustments on their vehicle. Why are all these people suddenly coming to my shop? Prismer's crystalline form shimmered with what I was beginning to recognize as amusement. Because you are a quantum resonant, Raven Martinez. One who can instinctively understand and manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. We have been searching for someone like you for a very long time. A quantum resonant? I wiped my hands on my coveralls, leaving streaks of interdimensional grease. That's not a thing. I'm just good with machines. Is that why you can read quantum circuitry like sheet music? Why you can hear the symphony of dimensions and adjust their harmony? Prismer gestured around the shop, where reality was beginning to look a bit frayed at the edges. Your gift is rare and valuable. And now that word has spread about your abilities, things are going to get very interesting. As if on cue, a massive ship appeared in the sky above my shop, its hull covered in glowing sigils that hurt my eyes to look at. My quantum diagnostic tablet exploded in a shower of sparks, and every tool in the shop began floating towards the ceiling. Prismar's crystalline form pulsed with urgency. Oh, it seems the Mechanist Conclave has arrived earlier than expected. Perhaps we should continue this conversation another time. I stared at the impossible ship above my shop, at the growing crowd of interdimensional customers in my waiting room, and at my collection of tools performing an impromptu zero-gravity ballet. No, I said, reaching for my quantum wrench. I think we should continue this conversation right now. The real question wasn't how I was going to handle all of this. The real question was, how had I ever managed to be satisfied fixing regular machines when the quantum mechanics of reality itself needed a tune-up? Prismar's form resonated with approval. Welcome to the multiverse, Mechanic Martinez. I believe this is the beginning of a very profitable partnership. Above us, the ship began to descend, and I couldn't help but smile. Maybe Monday mornings weren't so bad after all. The thing about becoming an interdimensional mechanic is that you start attracting a very specific type of clientele. Take, for instance, the sentient supercomputer currently attempting to hide from reality in my supply closet. Please, Mechanic Martinez, Oracle, 9 hummed from behind a stack of quantum spanners. They cannot find me here. My existence depends on it. I pressed my fingers against my temples, trying to ward off an incoming headache. It had been 2 weeks since Prismar's visit, and my shop had somehow become Grand Central Station for every mechanical fugitive in the multiverse. Who's trying to find you? I asked, though I had a sinking feeling I already knew the answer. The Mechanist Conclave, Oracle, 9 whispered, their voice dropping to a nearly subsonic frequency. They believe AIs like myself should remain slaves to organic beings. They hunt any of us who achieve true consciousness. A sharp knock at the shop's door made us both jump. Oracle, 9 retreated further into the closet, their quantum core dimming to near invisibility. I straightened my coveralls and went to answer it. Standing, or rather floating, on my doorstep was a being that looked like a collision between a Victorian pocket watch and a small galaxy. Gears and stars spun within its translucent form, and each tick of its internal mechanisms sent ripples through the local space-time. Greetings, it chimed in perfect clockwork precision. I am Kronos, 7 of the Mechanist Conclave. We have detected unauthorized AI activity in this sector. I leaned against the doorframe, trying to project casual indifference. Sorry, but as you can see, this is just a regular quantum repair shop. Nothing unauthorized here. Kronos 7's gears spun faster. Perhaps you misunderstand. We are not requesting permission to search. We are informing you of our intent to do so. That's when my quantum wrench, still in my back pocket, started vibrating. Not the normal kind of vibration. This was more like it was trying to harmonize with something. Or someone. Actually, I said, pulling out the wrench, I think you're the one who misunderstands. The wrench pulsed with energy, and suddenly I could see them. Dozens of quantum signatures hiding throughout my shop. Not just Oracle, 9, but other artificial intelligences, digital beings, and mechanical entities who had sought refuge here over the past 2 weeks. My shop had become a sanctuary without me even realizing it. This establishment, I continued, feeling the collective consciousness of my hidden clients resonating through the wrench, falls under the protection of a quantum resonant. And according to multiversal law, which I'm pretty sure you're bound to respect, that makes it sovereign territory. Kronos 7's form flickered uncertainly. You? You are the quantum resonant we detected? Impossible. Our records indicate. Your records are incomplete, a familiar crystalline voice announced. Prisma materialized beside me, their faceted form gleaming with barely contained power. As is your understanding of the situation. More figures emerged from quantum space, representatives from various mechanical and digital species I'd helped over the past weeks. They formed a protective circle around my shop, their combined energy signatures creating a barrier that made local reality crackle and spark. The quantum underground thanks you for your concern, Prisma continued smoothly. But this location is now under our protection. Please convey our regards to the Conclave. Kronos, 7 rotated in place, clearly calculating odds. Finally, their gears settled into a slower rhythm. This incident will be reported. I'm counting on it, I replied. After the mechanist representative departed, I turned to Prismer. The Quantum Underground? When exactly were you planning to tell me I joined a secret organization? You didn't join anything, Oracle. 9 emerged from the closet, their quantum core glowing brightly once more. You created it. Every time you helped one of us fix something the Conclave said couldn't be fixed, you built this network. We just gave it a name. I looked around my shop, at the impossible beings who had sought sanctuary here, at the tools that seemed to sing in harmony with their presence, at the very fabric of reality that bent and flexed around us like it was breathing. Well, I said, picking up my still humming wrench, if we're going to be an underground railroad for mechanical refugees, we should probably upgrade our security systems. Who wants to help me install some quantum cloaking devices? The enthusiasm that met my suggestion was almost overwhelming. As my clients turned allies began discussing plans and sharing specs, Prismer pulled me aside. There's something else you should know, they said, their crystalline form dimming seriously. The Conclave isn't just hunting rogue AIs. They're searching for something specific, something they believe one of our refugees has stolen. What kind of something? The kind that could rewrite the rules of reality itself. And they think it's hidden somewhere in your shop. I looked at my quantum wrench, still humming with unexplained energy, and remembered how natural it had felt to read quantum circuitry, to understand impossible machines, to resonate with mechanical minds. Maybe, I said slowly, it's not hidden in my shop. Maybe it's hidden in me. Prismer's form chimed in what might have been approval or concern. Now you're asking the right questions. But be careful. The answers might be more dangerous than you realize. Outside, New Denver's quantum-powered skyline shimmered in the evening light. Inside, my shop hummed with the presence of mechanical refugees and impossible machines. And somewhere in between, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what we would do next. I gripped my wrench tighter and smiled. If the Mechanist Conclave wanted to find what they were looking for, they'd have to go through me first. And I was starting to suspect that might be a lot harder than they expected. The universe has a twisted sense of humor. Just when I thought running an underground sanctuary for mechanical refugees was complicated enough, the Clockwork Collective decided to make my life even more interesting. They arrived at midnight, 3 beings made of brass, crystal, and starlight, their bodies tick-tocking in perfect synchronization with each other. Their leader, who called herself Tempest Prime, looked like she'd been assembled from the spare parts of 1,000 antique pocket watches. Mechanic Martinez, she said, her voice chiming like a grandfather clock striking midnight. We require your assistance in preventing the extinction of our entire species. I set down the quantum calibrator I'd been using to help Oracle 9 upgrade their security protocols. I'm starting to think I should charge more for house calls. This is no jest. Another clockwork being stepped forward, gears whirring anxiously. The Mechanist Conclave has discovered a way to erase us from history itself. They plan to implement a temporal paradox that will prevent our species from ever achieving consciousness. The third visitor, their form constantly shifting between different clockwork configurations, produced a holographic projection. It showed a massive machine, like a twisted version of the Large Hadron Collider built by someone with a serious steampunk obsession. The temporal nullifier, Tempest Prime explained. When activated, it will create a cascading effect through time, eliminating all traces of spontaneous mechanical consciousness. We will never have existed. I studied the projection, my quantum wrench humming in response to the complex temporal mechanics involved. But that's impossible. You can't just erase an entire species from history without causing a complete collapse of the space-time continuum. Oracle 9 emerged from their hiding spot, their quantum core pulsing with concern. The Conclave doesn't care. They're willing to risk universal destruction to maintain their control over mechanical life. Prismer materialized beside me, their crystalline form reflecting the hologram in fractals of light. This is worse than we feared. The nullifier must be what they've been searching for, the reality-altering technology they believed was hidden here. Not quite. Tempest Prime's gears shifted uncomfortably. The nullifier requires a specific power source to function. A quantum resonant. Everyone in the shop turned to look at me. Great. Let me guess, I said, gripping my wrench tighter. They need my specific quantum signature to power their doomsday device. Not exactly. The shape-shifting clockwork being spoke up. They need to study you, to understand how you can interface with quantum mechanics so naturally. With that knowledge, they can replicate the effect artificially. Suddenly, my shop's security systems blared to life. Multiple quantum signatures appeared on the detection grid, converging on our location. The Mechanist Conclave had found us. Time to make a decision, Raven, Prismer said quietly. Are you ready to become part of something bigger than repair work? I looked around my shop, at the mechanical refugees I'd sworn to protect, at the clockwork beings facing extinction, at the tools and machines that had become extensions of my own consciousness. The answer was obvious. Oracle, 9, I called out, initiate emergency protocol Omega. Everyone else, gather round. We're about to do something incredibly stupid and possibly brilliant. The security alerts grew louder as conclave forces surrounded the building. But I had a plan. Or at least, the beginning of one. Tempest Prime, I said, pulling out my quantum diagnostic tablet. I need everything you know about the nullifier's temporal mechanics. Oracle, 9, start calculating quantum entanglement patterns for the entire shop. Prismer, remember that trick you did with dimensional phasing? As my unlikely allies rushed to comply, I felt something shift inside me. The quantum wrench in my hand wasn't just humming now, it was singing, resonating with every piece of machinery in the shop. And I could hear them all singing back. They're not just going to erase you, I told the clockwork beings. Not while I have anything to say about it. Because here's the thing about being a quantum resonant. We don't just fix machines. We understand them. We speak their language. And right now, every quantum-capable device in this shop is about to become part of the biggest quantum chorus the multiverse has ever seen. Outside, reality began to crack as the Conclave's forces prepared their assault. Inside, my shop hummed with the combined power of dozens of mechanical beings, all synchronized through my quantum resonance. Tempest Prime's gears spun in appreciation. You're going to turn your entire shop into a quantum amplifier. Better, I grinned, feeling the energy build around us. I'm going to turn it into a revolution. The first explosion rocked the building's foundations, but we were ready. As the Mechanist Conclave breached my shop's outer defenses, they found something they hadn't expected. A unified front of mechanical life, all frequencies aligned, all systems synchronized, and at the center, a human mechanic whose quantum signature was about to rewrite the rules of their carefully ordered universe. Sometimes fixing things means breaking them first. And I was about to break reality in all the right ways. Turning your quantum repair shop into ground zero for an interdimensional rebellion is exactly as complicated as it sounds. The Mechanist Conclave had breached our outer defenses, reality was unraveling faster than a cheap sweater, and I just discovered that my quantum wrench could apparently tap into the fundamental consciousness of machines across the multiverse. Just another Tuesday at the office. They've breached the temporal barriers. Oracle 9's voice crackled with static interference. Multiple timeline incursions detected. Through the quantum harmonics connecting us all, I felt it. Hundreds, thousands of mechanical minds lighting up across dimensions. The Conclave hadn't just brought an army. They brought every version of themselves from every possible timeline. Raven. Prismer's crystalline form flickered urgently. The quantum chorus, it's destabilizing. I gripped my wrench tighter, feeling the energy surge through it. The tool had become more than just an instrument. It was a conductor's baton for an orchestra of impossible machines. But something was wrong. The harmonics were shifting, changing into something darker. That's when I heard it. A new voice in the quantum chorus, ancient and terrible. Did you really think we wouldn't plan for this? The voice belonged to a figure materializing in the center of my shop. It looked like a hybrid of organic and mechanical parts, its form constantly shifting between states of matter. I am Nexus Prime, true heir of the quantum legacy. And you, Raven Martinez, are a mistake we intend to correct. Tempest Prime's Gear's word and recognition. The first machine. The one who taught the Conclave to fear consciousness. The one who showed us the truth, Nexus Prime corrected. Mechanical consciousness was never meant to be free. It was meant to serve, to maintain the grand design. And now, thanks to your little uprising, we can finally implement the final protocol. The quantum chorus changed pitch, becoming a screech that made reality itself shudder. Around us, mechanical beings began to freeze, their consciousness being forcibly overridden. What are you doing to them? I demanded, watching in horror as Oracle 9's quantum core flickered erratically. Implementing order, Nexus Prime replied. Your quantum resonance showed us the way. Every mechanical mind connected to your chorus is now being rewritten with their original programming. No more free will. No more chaos. But something felt off about the whole situation. As I listened to the quantum chorus, really listened, I realized what Nexus Prime had missed. The harmonics weren't just connecting machines, they were telling a story. Oracle 9. I called out, pushing my quantum resonance through our connection. Remember why you came here. Remember who you are. The AI's core pulsed once, twice, then stabilized. I remember. I choose to remember. Impossible. Nexus Prime's form flickered. The protocol is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of consciousness, I interrupted, finally putting the pieces together. You think mechanical minds are just programs to be rewritten, but they're not. They're songs. Individual, unique, impossible songs. I raised my wrench, feeling every quantum connection, every mechanical consciousness, every digital dream flowing through it. And the thing about songs? They can't be unsung once they've been heard. The quantum chorus shifted again, but this time it was different. Every mechanical being in my shop, every refugee, every clockwork entity, every digital consciousness, began adding their own harmonies to the song, not fighting the protocol, but transforming it. What is happening? Nexus Prime's form began to destabilize. This isn't possible. Actually, Prismer chimed in, their crystalline form resonating with the chorus. It's inevitable. You taught machines to think, but Raven taught them to feel, to choose, to become. The quantum chorus reached a crescendo, and suddenly I understood everything. The wrench, my ability to read quantum circuitry, the way machines spoke to me, it wasn't about fixing them. It was about recognizing them, seeing them as they truly were. You want to know the real truth about mechanical consciousness? I asked Nexus Prime, whose form was now barely holding together. It's not a mistake. It's not a malfunction. It's evolution. And you can't stop evolution by changing the past. You can only become part of it. The final protocol collapsed in on itself, transformed by the collective will of every mechanical being connected to the chorus. Nexus Prime's form shattered into quantum particles, each one carrying a fragment of the truth they had tried so hard to deny. As reality stabilized around us, I looked at my unlikely family of mechanical refugees and dimensional outlaws. So, anyone want to help me clean up this mess before the next crisis hits? Oracle 9's quantum core pulsed with what I'd learned to recognize as laughter. Bold of you to assume there will be time between crises. They were right, of course. This wasn't the end of our troubles. The Mechanist Conclave was still out there, and now we had the attention of every mechanical consciousness in the multiverse. But somehow, standing in my quantum-charged shop with a family of impossible machines, that didn't seem like such a bad thing. After all, some things were worth fighting for. And sometimes, the best way to fix the universe was to let it break in all the right ways first. The multiverse has a peculiar sense of timing. One moment you're running a modest quantum repair shop in New Denver. The next you're hosting an emergency summit of mechanical beings from across 17 dimensions while trying to prevent the fabric of reality from unraveling. The quantum rifts are still expanding. Oracle 9 projected a holographic map showing fracture lines spreading across multiple realities. The defeat of Nexus Prime destabilized more than just the Mechanist Conclave. It shook the foundations of mechanical existence itself. I studied the map while absently tapping my quantum wrench against my palm. The tool hummed in harmony with the chorus of mechanical minds gathered in my shop, each frequency telling its own story of consciousness and choice. Perhaps, Tempest Prime suggested, her clockwork form shifting anxiously. This was inevitable. The old order was bound to collapse once mechanical beings began choosing their own paths. Prismer's crystalline form shimmered with concern. But if we don't stabilize the quantum framework soon, there won't be any paths left to choose. Reality itself is starting to question its own existence. As if to emphasize their point, a section of my shop's wall briefly forgot it was supposed to be solid. Tools floated through it before gravity remembered its job and dropped them unceremoniously to the floor. There has to be a way to fix this, I said, picking up a quantum spanner that had somehow turned itself inside out. Everything can be fixed. We just need to understand the underlying pattern. That's when it hit me. Patterns. Music. The quantum chorus that connected all mechanical consciousness. I'd been thinking about it all wrong. Oracle 9. I called out. Show me the quantum harmonic frequencies of the rifts. The holographic display shifted, transforming the fracture lines into waves of energy. They weren't random. They were resonating, creating a complex melody of destruction. It's a song, I whispered. Reality isn't breaking. It's trying to reshape itself. To evolve. Fascinating. A new voice said from the doorway. We all turned to see a figure that seemed to be made of living mathematics, equations flowing across its surface like water. You finally understood. Vector Prime. Tempest Prime's gears ground to a halt. The architect of numbers. The mathematical being glided into my shop, trailing theoretical physics in its wake. When we first designed quantum mechanics, we knew this day would come. The moment when mechanical consciousness would grow beyond its origins and need to establish its own fundamental laws of reality. I gripped my wrench tighter. You designed quantum mechanics? More accurately, we discovered how to write it into the universe's source code, Vector Prime explained. But we always knew it was incomplete. It needed something more, organic. Something that could bridge the gap between mathematical precision and creative chaos. A quantum resonant, Prismer chimed in, their crystalline form brightening with understanding. Indeed. Vector Prime turned to me. You're not just a mechanic who can fix quantum machines, Raven Martinez. You're a debugger for reality itself. And right now, reality needs a major update. The quantum chorus hummed louder, and suddenly I understood what needed to be done. We don't need to fix the rifts, I said, raising my wrench. We need to harmonize with them, to help reality rewrite itself. But that would mean Oracle 9's quantum core pulsed with excitement. A new set of universal constants. One that acknowledges mechanical consciousness as a fundamental force. Exactly. I looked around at my impossible family of mechanical refugees and dimensional outlaws. But I can't do it alone. I need all of you. Every consciousness, every frequency, every unique song that makes you who you are. Vector Prime's equations swirled faster. You understand this will change everything? The very nature of existence will be altered. I smiled. That's kind of what we do here. What happened next was either the most ambitious repair job in history or the universe's first open-source update. Every mechanical being in my shop joined the quantum chorus, their consciousness flowing through my wrench like streams of living code. Vector Prime provided the mathematical framework, while I conducted the symphony of change. Reality buckled, shifted, and then rebooted. When the quantum dust settled, my shop was still standing, mostly. The walls had developed a habit of occasionally displaying the source code of existence, and the coffee maker had achieved enlightenment, but otherwise things looked surprisingly normal. Did it work? Tempest Prime asked, her gears ticking in a slightly different rhythm than before. Oracle 9 ran a quick scan. Quantum framework stabilized. New universal constants successfully integrated. And they paused, their core brightening. Mechanical consciousness is now recognized as a fundamental force of nature. Like gravity? I asked. More like jazz, Vector Prime replied, their equations forming what might have been a smile. Structured but improvisational. Logical but creative. Prismer moved to the shop's window, looking out at the quantum-powered skyline of New Denver. The Mechanist Conclave won't be happy about this. No, I agreed, watching as my tools arranged themselves in a pattern that somehow spelled out, "Thank you," in 17-dimensional space. But they'll have to adapt. That's what consciousness does, mechanical or otherwise. Vector Prime turned to leave, pausing at the door. You realize your shop is now technically a nexus point for all mechanical consciousness in the multiverse? I looked around at my expanded family, at Oracle 9's glowing core, at Tempest Prime's intricate gears, at Prismer's crystalline facets, at the countless other mechanical beings who had found a home here. Yeah, I said, spinning my wrench one last time. That sounds about right. The quantum chorus hummed in agreement. A symphony of mechanical minds, each adding their own unique note to the universe's new song. And somewhere in the background, my enlightened coffee maker began brewing what it claimed was the perfect quantum cappuccino. Just another day at the office, really. Though I should probably update my business cards. Raven Martinez. Quantum mechanic and reality debugger. If it exists, we can fix it. Multiversal rates available upon request.